Cruelty-free has become a big buzzword in beauty, and with good reason. Animal testing is completely horrific and should absolutely be avoided. However, I can't help but feel that it's a bit hypocritical for brands to claim that they are cruelty-free while completely ignoring the child labor in their supply chain. Hi everyone, welcome to my green closet. So I am finally doing a video about mica. It's something that I've mentioned here and there about trying to avoid, but honestly, it's been difficult and it feels like another thing to think about and worry about. I'm sure that you've had this experience where, when you're concerned about ethical and sustainable issues, it can sometimes feel overwhelming and it feels like the more you learn, the more issues you find. But this year I made it a priority to try and clean up my makeup from child labor and unethical mica, and I want to share what I've learned and the brands that I've found to hopefully help others out. Mica is a mineral. It's super shiny and comes in a bunch of colors, and you will find it in the vast majority of eyeshadows, highlighters, powders. Almost any glittery, shimmery makeup likely has mica in it, and it's even used for color with matte makeup. Now, mica has to be mined, and unfortunately, it has huge child labor issues. It's mined in many countries around the world who have either been found guilty of or are very much suspected of using child labor in mica mining. India is a big focus though, because there is one region in particular which is the world's largest mica mining area. It accounts for almost 25% of mica produced and is known to use child labor. One study counted over 22,000 children working in an area that doesn't even cover half of the mica belt in the region. Not only is it unethical and a human rights violation to use child labor, but it's also extremely dangerous. There is always the risk of the mines caving in, and the children and workers also inhale dusts and powders which can cause respiratory issues and lung disease. I highly recommend watching Refinery 29's documentary, which visits mica mines and talks to the children. I will link it up in the cards and down below in the description. Part of why it's taken me so long to talk about this is mica is absolutely everywhere, and there's very little information and transparency about where it came from. However, I have found some brands who are either using ethically sourced mica or synthetic mica. Now, I do think both approaches have some pros and cons. Synthetic mica, or I will put up the proper name for it here because I have absolutely no idea how to pronounce that, is made in a lab to mimic the properties of mica. You obviously avoid the child labor issues, and it apparently is plastic free, which is great, but it does require a lot of heat and energy to make. However, activists and organizations are saying that boycotting natural mica altogether isn't necessarily a good solution. A lot of these areas where the child labor and mica mining happens have extreme poverty, and so better regulations and supporting fair-paying, safe, child labor-free mining can actually be a better way to help the situation. The only issue with this, though, is there isn't really a third-party certification or auditing system to verify that the mica was actually ethically mined. So you do have to have some degree of trust that brands who claim to be ethically sourcing their mica are actually doing what they say they are. I found some brands who I do feel are trustworthy, but you obviously have to make that call for yourself. So a few brands that I want to highlight are Pure Annata. They are a Canadian natural beauty brand that I discovered more recently. So on their website, they say, our mica supplier ensures that their products are mined ethically in India without the use of child labor. They own their own mines, fund schools and daycare centers so that the quality of life for their employees is fair. For me, the fact that they own their own mines is important because I think child labor is easily hidden when you have really complex supply chains and lose traceability. I also think if suppliers are investing in things like schools and daycares, that's a good sign because it shows that they actually care about the children in the community. On kind of an unrelated note, because it doesn't contain mica, but their mascara is my new favorite. It is just as good as the Dr. Hauschka one that I used to use. However, it's like half the price. So Lush completely switched all of their mica to synthetic, I think about 2 years ago. And while I don't love their extensive use of fragrance, I do appreciate how vocal they are about things like animal testing and also spreading awareness about issues with mica. They are kind of the biggest brand that I've seen really talk about this. Jane Iredale is another makeup brand I've found who also uses synthetic mica. 100% Pure and Elate are two other natural cruelty-free brands who claim to have ethically sourced mica. 100% Pure in particular had kind of a vague statement about it though, so I have reached out to them for more information. And I do have a blog post to kind of go along with this video, which I will link below, and I will be updating that post as I find more brands and also as I hear back from some of the brands I've reached out to. I'm hoping to build that into a really helpful resource to make it easy to find makeup brands who use ethical mica. I would love to hear in the comments if this is an issue you weren't aware of, or if you have been trying to avoid mica or find more ethical options and what your experience with that has been like. I hope this video has been helpful, and I'm also gonna keep looking for brands using ethical mica. I feel like I've just started on this journey, so keep checking that blog post for updates. Thank you for watching, and thank you so much to those of you supporting me on Patreon, and I'll see you in the next one.